Welcome to another episode of Whitefish Tips and Techniques, brought to you by Fenwick, 60 years of passion and innovation. In our first episode, we covered neutral to active fish, so now we'll cover neutral to inactive fish.
Hi, I'm John White. I'm on Lake Simcoe, and this is episode 2 of Tips and Techniques for Whitefish. We've already been through the jigging spoon. Now we set up a little drop shot with a very popular bottom bait, which is a Bad Boys. Stop turning, there you go. And on a little number 6 hook on the top, I have a little Berkeley Power minnow. And so this is a very subtle application. It's typically for fish that are not overly aggressive, and we need to get them on the bottom. There's a lot of ways to catch whitefish. These are some of my favorites. As always, I let the bait fall hard to the bottom, and then spike it a couple of times. That spike will throw up a little dust. Let something know I'm here. And then after that, the moves are pretty simple. Like
Bottom baits
right
don't
here.
make the best chase baits, but sometimes a slow lift can trigger a reaction. If it doesn't work, back down to the bottom. Whitefish get into feeding patterns, and it's difficult to interrupt them. Whitefish will eat zebra mussels and crustaceans within clusters of zebra mussels. It's not a pattern you can emulate. When they get like this, it's a matter of curiosity and reaction to get them to put something in their mouth. Very small finesse bottom baits can work. The problem is they work best on flat, featureless bottoms. There are rigs you can use to accomplish both.
I have a gulp fry, and I put it on wacky. And the reason I do that is because I want this, when it hits the bottom, just to go like that. It's actually more graceful in the water. So we'll drop that down, we'll see what happens. And we can change the top bait to anything we want. But this has been a good bait for me. Same rule applies for everything I drop in the water almost, and that is let it get down the bottom, bang it off the bottom a few times, let them know somebody's home. Couple of spikes, and then I'm going to start working the bottom and making that bait flap.
Of course, you don't have the choice of restricting the bait to one species. Now it's the right species. One thing about using gulp is if they do mouth it, they might come back and swallow it. Next, I put on a power minnow and worked it pretty well the same way. And the reaction was pretty well the same. Stirring up the bottom will do more than attract fish. It'll attract bait, which will attract more fish. When fish are negative, there's almost nothing you can do to make them bite. There are days, or at least times of the day, that they're not going to open their mouth for anything. You can cycle through a lot of baits, but it's probably not going to make a lot of difference. If enough fish go by, one of them is going to be aggressive and make a mistake. But the trick here is for less movement and smaller baits. Your favorite perch baits might be the ticket. If you're on a sand flat with very little structure and good visibility, you can go to a very small bottom bait and work the bottom only and take off the top bait. But there's very few situations that a whitefish won't hit a very small drop shot bait. I normally go to a Berkeley Power nymph. Sometimes when there's an aquatic insect hatch, that turns them off everything else. If you do manage to get one and you look at the stomach contents, it'll just be black. The nymph is a good alternative for that. There's very few rigs you can use as versatile as a double bait drop shot. This rig allows you to keep one bait working the bottom and another one in the strike zone. If it's a rocky bottom, it'll keep one bait visible. Just remember, jigging is to get attention. If you mark fish, slow lift or quiver the top bait. There's a wide range of top baits that you can use, but start with larger profiles first and work smaller. As the bite gets tougher, move smaller and make your baits less active. Dead stick your bait for long enough for a fish to mouth it, then slow lift to see if there's weight. Hope this helps you catch more whitefish. For more tips and techniques for whitefish and other species, visit the video section at timeonthewatercanada.com. Thanks for watching.